everybody. Hi, how you doing? Hey. It's me. It's Doc Normal. I'm here. We're still all happening. I'm still doing an adjust. Oh, look. You just saw what happens. Look at that. That's when the chair hits the button accidentally. So whoever designed that...
Right.
Designed it improperly.
Well, we could just be going for a funky 3D thing.
Good morning. I am here with my co-host... Dennis D. Young.
Hi, I'm the front man for Sticks.
Lady!
That's right.
You put cigarettes in your nose. Whoa.
I feel compelled to tell you right off the bat that when I was writing songs for Kilroy was here, I was on LSD. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah. That's the only way you can explain the whole Sticks, Kilroy was here album. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo.
Funny, you don't look like Dennis D. Young.
Well,
Why?
Camera, lights, and makeup change a man dramatically.
Jason Allen.
Yes, that's the rumor anyways. That's what I'm going by today.
Rooney.
Yeah.
Is it Rooney on there?
Maybe Wednesday I'll be Richard Milhouse Nixon.
Oh, now you're tossing out your own jokes. We have a list, right?
We have a list. I've totally effed up the list now.
I feel like this is like Friday where I'm like, I don't like my mic. Of course, it's not like I spent any time doing a mic check.
Well, it's all
that's
right.
That's sort of like the low hanging fruit. It's like because I'm still doing all this. Wow, this is compelling.
Yeah.
What I was doing was getting all my news stories together.
Yes.
I collect them.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff. So there's sports news, specifically in the soccer.
Yes. Yeah.
I wonder if that lighting's going to work. We'll see. Soccer. I got a lot of soccer. There was a lot of soccer on Sunday.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of pop culture.
Yes, a lot of the summer movies started to hit this weekend and stuff.
I'm just going to pull that up so if it comes in, we'll hear it.
And a little bit later, I want to talk about your Twin Peaks dreams.
Oh God,
because that
was pop culture,
right? We can ask Doc Housel to interpret your Twin Peaks dreams.
This is weird because it's sort of like we're messaging back and forth about. Well, should we do a block? It's like we don't do a block. We just sit here and talk. Like, what's on your mind?
Right.
Well, I don't know.
That's our block.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Trump news, but God, I mean, you can't get away from it.
Well, there's one thing I want to talk about really quick about Trump, but it's nothing political. He was at the Western Wall there, and he had his yarmulke on, which I find kind of a hoot.
Right.
And he left a little note. It's kind of tradition, right? That you write a prayer or something, and you roll it up, and then put it in one of the cracks or crevices within the Western Wall. Okay, and so Mr. Trumpkins did that, and I'm just so intrigued. I gotta know what was in the note, right? Because he has no idea about Judaism. I know his daughter converted with old Kushner and stuff, but I mean,
it was.
This wall is okay, but my wall is going to be
better.
It's going to be tremendous.
My wall is going to be tremendous.
This wall has cracks. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
So I just wondered what did he write something random in there like I like fish.
We could bring in some decorators. We could make this wall look better. I can't even do I mean I should work on that, but why?
Right. I could seriously imagine this on OPB later. Right. You got the calm, soothing voice. President Trump was kicked out of Israel today after he tried to spray paint Trump on the side of the Western Wall.
Oh God.
In other news.
Sorry, I'm just seeing we're going to decide if you're too dark today.
Okay.
Because you're always too light.
Ooh. Got to find that happy medium.
Oh, yeah. It's Monday. It feels like a Monday.
It is, yes. And because you were talking about the sports package with the football.
That didn't happen.
I decided I was going to break out my Manchester United shirt.
That's right, and that's topical.
Yes.
So,
Happy Monday, man.
Distracted.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Anyway, distracted by pictures on the sun.
There we go. Hello, welcome to the Dr. Rebecca Housel is Fabulous hotline.
Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me on today.
Doc, I want to first I want to apologize because it was like a 3 a.m. message, right? I'm like, oh crap, I got to message Doc, and so I'm messaging her, and she probably was like, oh my god, 15 minutes to spare. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you guys. No, actually, I ended up being able to put it all out on social media too, so it was enough time to get it out there. So I know that some people are listening right now who wouldn't be listening otherwise.
Nice. You see,
so
Doc,
there you go.
That is because you are a multitasker, and I am not even a monotasker. So I mean.
You're fabulous. You know it.
Fabulous. Yes.
I did notice the time you messaged Jason. I was like,
right.
At
3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh crap. That's what usually happens to me
It
late.
was actually 4:16. May I just say 4:16 a.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah. You know.
Well, can I just say, like Agent Cooper,
Yes.
Jason does not live in time.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to run with that. Right.
I'd agree with that. And, you know, what was sad was if it had been an hour earlier, if it had been 3 a.m., I would have been up. I was up editing until 3 a.m., and my dog came down and told me I had to go to bed.
Well,
so.
Yeah. Yeah, I've learned the hard way that I must listen to all my animals.
Yes, you have to. Well, she came down so many times to scold me, and finally I was like, oh, fuck it. Oh, so sorry. I was supposed to be PG-13.
That's
okay.
That took all of 2 minutes.
It's all right.
It's the storytelling.
Right. It's all in the storytelling. Yeah.
So, it's kind of a slow news weekend for pop culture, I would say.
Yeah, right.
We had this little movie Prometheus drop.
This little one, right? Yeah.
In the U.S. And then we had this little TV show called Twin Peaks.
Right, yeah.
So what's the...
Twin Peaks!
Did you watch it?
Of course I did. I love that show. I actually talked about it. I talked about it, and there's even a YouTube video to prove it.
Ooh.
In fall 2014, I was at my house in Atlanta, and I'm like, oh, Twin Peaks, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
A little soon, but I knew I saw the script, and I was like, oh, you know, I was about to say the F word again.
Oh,
but I was really excited. Yeah, because, you know, I have my own set of Twin Peaks, so.
There you go.
Anything.
There you go. You know,
anything that involves Twin Peaks is good news.
Right. Hey, a little bit later, Doc. Our own Doc Normal, he watched Twin Peaks just right before bed, right? And so I'd like you a little bit later to interpret his Twin Peaks dreams, because you know there's going to be some fantastically wacky dreams, right?
Absolutely. In fact, my most recent piece on the blog that I just put up at 3 a.m. this morning, Doctor Briefs, and it's about a loopy dream. So I am fully versed and can do that for you, Doc Normal.
Yeah,
I'm on it.
Well, what I figured out, and I recall this from the last time Twin Peaks was on, what is it, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, close to that.
Oh, I think it's more than that, dude.
Oh.
You know, Twin Peaks, that was like the 80s, you know, so...
Yeah.
We've just been aged.
It's probably. You're right. Like kind of around the time Star Trek: The Next Generation was on, I think, right? And that was like third. They just celebrated like their 30th.
Right, number one, make it happen.
Yeah. But I remember, you know, with the pacing, the storytelling and the pacing of Twin Peaks and the visuals, it's very trance-like and dream-like, right? Even the dialogue. Yeah. So I realize it's one of those things that's easy to fall asleep to. It's like, oh, and then you have really weird David Lynch influenced dreams.
I think it's fantastic.
I am so intrigued to hear about these dreams.
I hopefully I can remember them. But anyway, so yeah, I watched it last night. I actually realized I jumped on a half an hour in because I was like, oh, is this?
Oh, okay.
Can I get this here? Which I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of the theory with David Lynch and with Twin Peaks. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're just stuff's gonna happen right there in front of you, you know. But it seemed like I came in at a good time.
It is going to happen. And actually, I have the premiere date of the original show was April 8th, 1990. So that's 27 years ago.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I have a kid 27 years old. So
that's what I figured is it was like 90 popped in my head, right there.
So
right. Yep, it was April 8th, 1990. Yep.
So let me ask you two
Good call, Doc.
Let me ask you two right off the bat, okay? When you watch the updated version, you know, the continuation of Twin Peaks, what was your first gut reaction of it?
I have tweets. I could share my tweets.
Oh,
I always like to share my tweets.
Please share your tweets.
And Doc Housel will enjoy this. So my first tweet about half an hour to an hour in was young folks right now. Hey, why is the mayor of Portlandia in hell?
That's a good one. I like that one, Doc. I could have come up with that myself, but that's good.
Oh, if I'm got my Twitter open and I'm watching a big event, I'll snark or make little funnies, and then later and this actually calls back to some things I saw on the net post event is so Agent Cooper is a third stage guild navigator. This is messing with my mind. So that's a real.
Hey, that was a good one too.
Yeah, that's real. So the deal there, not to spoil anything, but at some point toward the end of the first, I guess this is episode 1 and 2 that I watched, he kind of ends up in a box kind of thing. And it kind of looks like this scene in Dune, which was another David Lynch.
Yeah.
And I noticed people on the internet were saying that they were finding all kinds of little callbacks and little hooks and little winks to other David Lynch films.
Gotcha. Huh.
And that was the one that stood out for me, was the box.
So let me ask you two, did it live up to your expectations, right? Because obviously you're judging from the past Twin Peaks, right? And so when you're about ready to sit down and watch a new one, and then you start watching it, did it live up to your expectations? Doc Housel.
Yeah, well, I can tell you. So adaptation is really one of my big fields, and adaptation is not meant to be the same as the original. It's going to be different. And you'll never get the same, like Guardians of the Galaxy is a great example. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 opened May 5th. Not to switch gears on anybody, but people were so in love with it. And the second one was really awesome, but everybody was like, well, it wasn't exactly as good as the first. Well, of course not, because the first is the original thing you saw for granted. You know what I mean? So if you look at it as a pure, okay, this is a new movie, same thing with this. I really feel like the first one was pretty mind-blowing for 1990. This is pretty awesome, too, years later. And we all love nostalgia. Nostalgia is the big thing that sells in pop culture. It's what keeps Comic-Cons going across America. Comic-Con, whatever kind, walkers and stalkers, whatever, it's all about nostalgia. Nostalgia stars sell my David Frank, not to name drop, but Power Rangers was on like time ago. My son was a little boy, and we were watching Power Rangers. Relevant today, with literally hundreds of thousands of fans packing into a room, 1,000 people, just to see him for 45 minutes is incredible to me because of nostalgia.
Yeah.
All this pop culture mythology you were talking about with the box and the callbacks to and other David Lynch projects, it's all part of the expectation of the 21st century audience now. Pop culture mythology is where it's at.
Nice.
Is the deal. So
Yeah.
I'm liking it a lot. I'm excited.
Someone said.
That's PG-13.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Fabulous.
But actually, later in this discussion, we'll tell you why some of that stuff got cut, not because of you, but of other reasons.
Oh,
that
yeah.
hit us on
yeah.
Friday. You'll love that. Anyway, it has to do with certain companies,
copyright
companies dealing with their fandom and copyright. So the thing, I had a friend who said, "Oh, I was trying to catch up and watch some of the old Twin Peaks, binge watch it, and then watch this new one." And she had made this comment. Happened to me last night. It was like, boy, kind of slow moving, whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of Twin Peaks. You just kind of go with the ride. And I thought that last night. I think you're right on. I was like, this is the 21st century Twin Peaks. It's moving pretty quickly, as I think compared to the original.
Yeah.
It's like Anderson Cooper 360 of hey, Jeffrey Cuban,
Right.
dead body. Now what do you do?
Or like the old, what was on the McLaughlin group?
Yeah.
What do you think? You suck. Next person.
Agent Cooper, evil Agent Cooper, go. Sorry, this is a callback to you.
Well,
You gotta start watching this. This is callback. We do callbacks now to our own show.
Gotcha.
Pretty soon, actually, we're
And
gonna
I
have a
love
red room. We're gonna have Jason in the red curtains.
Ooh. I like it.
Room, actually, weirdly. I know. I do too. You know what? I also liked how Showtime, because this is a Showtime. I liked how they did, like you were saying, Doc Normal. They were running these on-demand seasons. They had it live, and then they had it on demand, so you could really catch up.
Right.
In case you missed it, in case you were just born, in case you were 1 year old when it came out, like my son.
Right.
Well,
This is like a really
that's
whole new generation of fans.
That's not to get so crazy egotistical, self-referential, but that was kind of the whole point of that first little tweet that people thought was funny, is that it's people like your son that are going to be watching this and going, "What is this?" Right? I mean, they didn't have this when us curmudgeons,
right,
were watching it when it was on TV. And when it was on TV, it was David Lynch on television, which was groundbreaking. I mean, it really was like, this is the guy who made Eraserhead, and the Elephant Man and Blue Velvet and a really messed up visually version of Dune, which I say that actually because I like his interpretation of Dune.
Gotcha.
The movie has some problems, but I like his interpretation of it. So it was like, how are you going to put this guy on television, like next to Roseanne or whatever it was we were watching at the time, right?
And Night Court, right? No,
probably. Yeah.
Weirdly,
Post.
Joss Whedon wrote Roseanne, if you can believe it.
He what?
One of the writers on Roseanne. Yeah, so when you mentioned Roseanne, I was like, oh, that's Joss Whedon's wheelhouse.
Wow.
Oh, he was a writer on Roseanne?
I know.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Well, Jason...
His dad wrote Golden Girls.
Wow. Holy cow.
In the writer's bullpen, right?
Right.
Well, Jason had broke that Roseanne is coming back as well.
It is, yeah. I got picked up by ABC. Yeah.
So
I have mixed feelings about that, but...
yeah, so do I. But John Goodman, though, he's going to be in it, so we like John Goodman.
Right.
I think.
I'm happy about that. I really like John. He's a nice man. He deserves some work.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For him the last few years. I'm real excited about it for him. Yeah, good project for him.
So back to Twin Peaks, because this was what was happening on my internets at the time, right?
Interwebs.
Obviously. Well, it's a thing. It's like the cultural event. Yeah. So did you? There's one technical thing that was interesting, is that I caught it on the stream, and it's like episode 1 and episode 2. It was a 2-hour, but I was seeing that some people had like the Showtime app, and they were watching episode 3 and 4 or something like that. Like I'm already behind on episodes. Did you see the whole thing, or did you see the first 2 episodes? The first 2 hours.
Watched the first 2 episodes because I have like a life and other things to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And there is the Showtime app, which allows you to watch it at 3 a.m. when your dog won't let you go to sleep.
Yeah.
So you can always go back and watch it. It's like sort of trying to kind of emulate the Netflix model a little bit. On demand is not like Netflix because it's not all at once, although they are trying with shows like Famous in Love, things like that with Bella Thorne, which is new on ABC Family, which is like a parody of Twilight, basically.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Is there more glittery vampires?
No, actually, it's like a parody of what it was for the actors to talk about
right.
the celebrity mirror. I mean, they want people to understand just how horrible it was. Rich and famous.
Right.
So I watched the whole thing in like a day because it was one of those shows you don't need to watch. So I watched it all while I was working one day, and I like Bella Thorne a lot. I think that she's super hot and really beautiful, and they have like a lot of great new talent in the show, but it's really all about how difficult it is to be rich and famous. And I'm sorry, I did write something called Rockstar on September 22nd, 2016 on my blog that talks about fame does suck in a lot of ways. There's no question.
Yeah,
you're still wearing like Cavalli, you're still getting free gifts, and I go to an airport and people are like, "Oh, how can I help?" It still has perks, and just suck it up. You can't work in Walmart ever again, but write books or something. Something.
Well, I don't see this as a problem.
I love that you can't go home again, especially if it's Walmart.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's my frame of reference. I maybe lived in Atlanta too long.
Oh.
Shopping at the Walmart is like a thing down there. They go grocery shopping. They do manicures. I've never actually been in a Walmart.
Oh, wow.
That was kind of a thing.
They do manicures
I don't
there?
know. Apparently they do. I'd be sitting with my students in ATL. I taught at a state college, and they were like, "Oh my God, I got my nails done this weekend at the Walmart when I was shopping." I'm like, "What?"
Oh my gosh.
Man, I got to get me to Walmart.
Right? Yeah. I was on the fence before about going to Walmart. I just couldn't decide, but the manicures, they did it. I imagine.
I think I'll go buy me a big old pack of arrows.
Right.
So I can go scoot on down the road and shoot it at my favorite person at Stock's house. And while I'm there, I'll get a manicure and pick up some milk.
Right, yeah. And, I got this huge mental picture, right, of some lady in a blue smock bending over. Let's buff this out. I don't know. Yeah.
Sorry for that little foray, everybody, but it was worth it for me.
That's right. I love that. That's going to be in my head. That's going to be in my head all day now. Manicures at Walmart. I'm going to look that up on the internet. There's some YouTube stuff going on.
Oh, boy. Hey,
Yeah.
Speaking of amazing things happening this weekend, did you read that Star Wars, the total franchise, has sold 7 billion tickets worldwide?
Wow.
And I just want people to understand, actually 7 billion people in the world.
Yeah.
So that's
right now.
That's the movie, like a ticket in the movie theater?
Yeah, tickets
Wow.
overall.
Wow.
Every single, if you took the entire franchise, 7 billion. So I just want people to understand that when they go on to these special fundraiser sites for Star Wars and they put in money to have breakfast with somebody or something, don't do it. You already made these people rich beyond rich. They can take the money that you're giving and they can donate it.
Right, yeah. 7 billion.
Wow.
That is a mind-boggling number.
Yeah, but it makes sense, though, if you really
Yes.
think about it.
No, I mean it's a world. I mean it's a cultural now. It's a icon phenomenon. So I mean,
and it's owned by Disney now. So
right.
Disney will be the McDonald's of the Star Wars. They'll just hang a sign that says 7 billion served, and they'll just keep iterating the number. Right? You know, you'll see the Star Wars logo with the number served. You know?
Right. I can see that.
Which I just realized again, younger people who might hear this have no clue what that is.
The rolling numbers. I remember growing up and seeing the rolling numbers on. Yeah,
they stopped putting the rolling numbers out there years ago.
Right.
They just threw up their
I
hands.
don't even remember that, boys. I mean, am I younger than you? I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think so, because even in 1990, I was like 18 years old. By the way, I wasn't exactly like ancient. I can't even remember watching Twin Peaks, but
I think they dropped the numbers somewhere in the 90s.
They just gave up.
They just gave up. We can't put a big enough number on here. It was just that throughout the years as they grew the franchise, they put the number of burgers sold.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it would be like million, billion, 14 billion burgers sold.
Right, I knew they were about ready to give up on the numbers when it just had a whole crap load of burgers.
Yeah.
They
just started walking around and down the street and shoving Big Macs and poor kids. Here, this is nutrition. I'm sorry.
Right.
Well, anyway.
Hey, have you all seen American Gods on Stars yet?
Not yet.
I have not.
Please say yes.
That was
Oh, no.
No, I haven't.
That was your homework, Jason.
Yeah, I know.
Jason's got lots of homework.
Let me tell you something. Over this weekend, I got an F in homework, okay? I tried looking for the discussion, couldn't find it on Netflix, couldn't find it on my on-demand on Comcast.
Yep.
And so I'm kind of like, I'm going to have to go hunting on the internet and try to get it that way.
Well, when you do get American Gods, I'm not joking when I say I feel this show is right up there with True Blood. It's one of my very favorite shows of all time. I am so in love with the show. I want to fuck the TV. Oh my God! I'm so sorry. I'm so not PG-13. I want to make love to my television set when I watch it. That's how excited I am.
Doc, I love it when you tiptoe through the minefield. It's great.
Those radio interviews, man, they must just have the intern on the dump button.
Yeah.
It's like,
I love it.
We don't have a dump button, so
that's all right.
I mean, we're on the internet, so there is,
Yeah, there's a certain leeway to it.
But if we were broadcasting live on the radio waves,
on the
by the FC, controlled by the FCC,
right? Yes.
Which I think, thinking about this, even like Twin Peaks had some swearing in it.
Yeah.
Last night because it was on Showtime, which was not in the original series because it was on broadcast television.
Network.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was network TV. Yeah. That's the whole thing now. Really, even if did you guys ever watch any of the Netflix original series?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean, even there.
Sure.
The gloves are off, and really, that's very uniquely American too. I want the audience who is American to understand that the rest of the world, TV is not like it is here. Even today, even with as sort of more relaxed as it is today, it's you can see tits, all the ass, all kinds of stuff on regular TV. I'm sorry if that's not PG-13, but I mean it's just body parts. So
yeah, in Europe, I mean. It's like soft Skinamax or something.
Right.
If you're over there in Germany, it's like, I'm going to watch a comedy, Roseanne. I don't remember all the nudity in Roseanne.
I just couldn't get that. I couldn't get past John Goodman nude, right? I just couldn't,
German body doubles. Some German body doubles. Some extended scenes in Germany of John and Roseanne and their characters making sweet love in the original German.
Getting it on with having more babies, having more of their charming family.
Right, I didn't recognize the 4 extra kids around.
From that show ended up in The Big Bang Theory. Ended up with a couple of
Galecki, right? Johnny Galecki? Big Bang Theory.
Yep, and also the daughter. She plays. Big Bang Theory. Yeah. They got a lot of it was very interesting to me how like the pop culture mythology and how it spreads out. And can you believe that Galecki actually got some of Kaylee? I mean, I can't even believe that they even went out.
Right. Oh, yeah.
He was a producer on the show. That to me was like the producer wants me, so I kind of have to do this.
Right, yeah.
Dude, lucky.
Kaylee Cuoco, she was kind of my 70s Farrah Fawcett, right?
Oh, yeah. She's super hot. I liked her on Charmed. That's why I think one of her first gigs was on Charmed.
Right, yes. Excellent.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what.
Yeah.
I was looking up the daughter on Roseanne, and it was Sarah Gilbert.
Yeah.
But I get her mixed up with the daughter from Arrested Development, who has been doing. No, she's been starring she had a new show about it's kind of like they're young people and they're doing like a serial like podcast, so they're investigating the sleuthing murders kind of thing. It looked kind of interesting, and it was like
I love her so much.
Yeah, what's her name?
I love her. I love.
She's an adult now. I mean,
Yeah, she's an adult now. That's for sure. I loved the dynamic between she and Michael Cera in Arrested Development. That was really the bomb for me.
Right.
I mean, he was great in that. And of course, Jason Bateman. I always think about Jason Bateman's character in Dodgeball when I think about Jason Bateman. For that kind of action cotton, it was like so great.
Right, yeah.
I just so much.
Well, I'm just trying to, I love it when
You're talking about her name, by the way, is Alia Shawkat.
Ah,
that's what I'm trying to.
Or maybe rather.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, I love it when I try to Google things and it just does never. You have to type in a better search here.
She's in the news right now because 2 days ago, Doc, she came out as bisexual.
Oh.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is that not news to me? No, I don't know. I don't mean it that way. I mean, like I thought I'd heard something about that, but maybe I was like on the gossip.
Maybe that was
rags or something.
Maybe that was in one of your Twin Peaks dreams.
Oh, I'm sure it was. So, shifting.
Shifting gears.
Yeah, Alex Shawkat, which you said there she is. And I'm trying to figure out what this new show she's been doing. Search Party. Thank you. Search Party was this new show, which is about Search Party is an American dark comedy television series. TBS. They're in New York City and they're investigating these, cold cases or murders or whatever. Kind of a riff on the serial kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I thought I remember when that came out last year, and it was like, oh, that looks kind of funny, dark comedy. So
right,
but I always get her mixed up. I always think that she's on Roseanne, but she was on Arrested Development. So how you mix actors up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she wasn't a Connor. She was a Bluth.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the Bluth. That was so great. Hey, she also plays Alexander Hamilton. Or she played Alexander Hamilton in Drunk History, which is like one of my favorite guilty pleasures.
Oh, wow. Oh, nice. I'll have to look that one up.
It's so hot right now.
Right.
I'll have to look that one up.
I'm always up for a drunken Alexander Hamilton.
Yes. So,
is there any other kind?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, if he wasn't drunk, maybe he would have survived that duel.
That explains the whole Aaron Burr thing. Okay, I got it now.
Had an extra nip.
Right.
Maybe you could aim better.
He was too busy hitting the flask.
Sir, good day. I said good day.
Good day. Sir, will you put down your flask? I want to shoot you.
Yeah. So, the other...
I actually have a flask, by the way.
Well, who doesn't?
Right.
That's right. Who doesn't?
That's right.
We all have flasks now.
Mine are always from various relationships, And so you're kind of like, oh, I guess I should make that flask go away or something, or I don't know.
That's what separates us from the
gift from someone.
That's what separates us from the millennials, right? They got like water bottles and we got flasks.
There you go.
Well, I have Fiji bottles too, and my organic cold pressed juices.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like not much different there, but you gotta have the flask in case of emergencies.
Yeah. One person's Evian.
Date, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you're on a bad Tinder date with a millennial, you need a flask.
Right. Right. One person's Evian is another man's Smirnoffs, I mean, it's just what it is.
So,
fair enough. I go with Corzo in my flask.
Oh.
It's tequila or nothing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Tequila.
that works.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know. It's 20.
So, are you always looking forward to... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say it's 2017. I really don't care what's in the flask anymore. It's like...
just give it to
fermented?
me.
As long as there's something in there.
Yeah, I'm walking past the 7-Eleven and I'm asking the guy sitting on the sidewalk with a bag.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's in the bag, man? Think I could have a little bit?
Is there some Applejack in there?
Yeah, exactly.
God.
So in the theaters,
yeah.
you mentioned one movie, and then there was another movie that dropped. You mentioned the Gardens of the Gardens of the Galaxy. That
would be a great parody, actually.
It's a Merchant Ivory sci-fi film.
Right.
It stars Anthony Hopkins and Emma Thompson. They're on a spaceship.
Yeah.
They're a butler and a maid on a spaceship.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of sighing.
Yeah. And everyone's wearing overalls and shooting ray guns.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I got it.
Jeeves, we are about to make the jump to hyperspace. Could you get us the tea early?
That's right.
Yes, master. I will.
Right, Jeeves, please take the crumpet away from the hyperspace button.
That would be Gardens of the Galaxy. There
you go.
So look, she's going to go write it. Make $1 million. Right. And we're going to be here
Doc.
talking.
Go.
What's that?
What? It's your window, Doc. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go.
Well, you could, Jason and I spitball a lot of ideas on the show.
Right. It's the follow through that,
Oh, I'm going to update the graphics package for the show.
I have to say, I got to give a shout out to what's coming up on June 1st because my home girl from Israel, New Power Go, is starring in what is going to be, I think, maybe the first huge big release that stars a woman where she is not saving the world from face cream. Some simpering idiot who's connected to a man. I mean, passing the Bechdel test. Yes, please. It's happening. It's on. It's 2017. Right to vote in 1920. But anyway,
so that's June 1st.
It's really exciting, boys.
Yeah.
That's June 1st that
June
the new
1st.
Wonder Woman drops.
Right.
So the reason we got into...
She's on the cover of Marie Claire right now.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, I'm excited.
The reason we got hammered last time is we played a little bit of the clip from that the movie, and we're getting copyright. Like they can actually tell that you're playing the video without the audio. So we like that studio is like on YouTube. If you dare touch their precious trailer,
you get a nasty gram.
Yeah, even if it's fair use. But anyway, this is a cranky Doc Normal thing that I have. So that drops June 1st. That has Chris... Let's see. I'm like, well, what dude is in it, man? Because I'm a dude.
Yeah. No,
but it has Chris Pine in it.
Gotcha.
It has Chris Pine in it, who plays Captain... He plays a lot of things, but he plays Captain Kirk in the new Star Treks, and I like Chris Pine. I think he does a good job as an actor. And from what I've seen as a trailer...
Robin Wright from Princess Bride.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Wait, Robin Wright...
Well, she dropped the pen.
From
House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Yep.
Right?
Forrest Gump. Yep.
House of Cards.
And
from Unbreakable with Bruce Willis.
Yes.
And
she's in a lot of great stuff.
She's in something... Oh, the new Blade Runner.
Really?
Yeah, she's in the new Blade Runner. But let's focus back on the women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go girls.
Right.
Go girls. I mean, it's really been rare, and I really feel like this is going to be the one that's going to break that record. We're going to break the ceiling with Wonder Woman. I'm really excited about it. Like, I'm getting wet just thinking about it, and not in a sexual way.
Right,
maybe
right.
in a sexual way, but you know.
Right. Yeah, I tell you, when you watch a trailer of like Wonder Woman and stuff, isn't it amazing what technology has become? Because I mean, it's mind blowing, right? And
you mean CGI?
Well, yeah,
yeah.
Well, all the computer, all the stuff, and it's like, wow, you know. And because I think some movies almost are made to like be held back until technology can do it justice, right? Because I mean, we were talking a little.
Ah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, because I mean, we were talking before the show about the old Batman serials of like the 1940 and stuff, and I mean, yeah, it's kind of campy and kitschy and stuff, but I mean, look at that morphed into, you know, the Burton / you know, theatrical stuff, and it's just amazing how things have come. Man, I'm just dating myself all over the place.
There's a really good YouTube video that goes through all of that. Oh, they should do it for Wonder Woman, but they did do it for Wonder Woman, as a matter of fact.
Somebody cue the spot for AARP for me, please.
So yeah, I thought the trailers looked really good for Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little. The only thing about it is I'm not a big fan of the DC stuff that's come out. I wasn't the Superman.
Gotcha.
And here's the thing, and I watched a YouTube video where they took every clip of every Superman that's ever been. There's these YouTube videos. They're like 5-10 minutes long, and they'll show you scenes from the first guy who played, you know, Superman in the serial to Henry Cavill, right?
Yeah.
And I like him. I like Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
I like him as an actor, but the material I wasn't so good on, and then that second movie was, well, I don't know. I don't know. It just wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little nervous about this being in that universe, the Wonder Woman, but the trailer, the stuff looks good.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like there's humor. The other thing is there's some humor in it.
Right.
Like in what I saw in the trailers, there's humor.
That's normal. I don't want to like call you out or anything, but I'm going to call you out. So comparing Wonder Woman to Superman or any other DC is like, you know, looking at like the Batman with, you know, Michael Keaton and saying, you know, don't go to the Christian Bale movie, because you can't. I mean, you got to support the girls. That's the bottom line. Do not compare a woman to a man. She's definitely going to do better than that. Henry Cavill's a little bit out to lunch, and Gal Gadot is not. In fact, she carried that farcical movie that they made into a porn parody. I mean, literally, there's a porn parody of it. You know, you can't compare the two, and I think that people should go and see it, and they should give it a chance, and they should not worry about previous DC properties at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's going to really rock. It's unique. It's different, and you know, for the first time ever, a woman is carrying the film. It's historic. If you don't go and see it just for that alone, then you are not as much of a pop culture fan as you think you are. You know what I mean? Like, just for that alone.
Yeah.
Right.
It really is remarkable. The last time a woman carried a film, she was saving the world from freaking face cream. I mean, men have been writing really bad scripts for women for a long time. And Joss Whedon, actually, I got to bring Joss in again because, of course, he's my boo. You know, I just love him so much. And he wrote a script for Wonder Woman, not this picture, but he was the one. Actually, the reason that this is happening, if we want to get real talk for the millennials out there, hashtag real talk, Joss Whedon is the one that wrote the first Wonder Woman script and kept floating it around Hollywood saying, let's make this movie. Here's the script. I'm challenging you. Let's make the movie. That was like a decade ago. So it often takes, like Preacher, for example, not to sidetrack us from the ladies at all, but Preacher is the graphic novel written by Garth Ennis, who's Northern Irish. Go at Team Irish. You know, I'm loving the Irish right now. I'm heading there in about a month, so I can go do some work charity work with kids there.
Nice.
I'm excited. But also Steve Dillon, who sadly passed away, who did the illustrations. They started that journey to adapting it for the screen, either for the big screen or the television screen in the 80s. It took such a long time, so people the audience doesn't always realize that. And for the ladies, Jessica Jones, okay, here's a great example, going back to the Netflix model. We have Daredevil, they have the whole kind of Marvel universe happening on Netflix, whereas CW's locked down the DC universe with Arrow and stuff like that. So Daredevil has had multiple seasons. We've seen Luke Cage, we've seen, now Iron Fist, we've seen all these dudes.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones killed it, but they don't guarantee her a second season. Instead, now we're going to see The Defenders, August 18th, that premieres. And that stars, weirdly, Sigourney Weaver, who the Alien movie just came out this weekend and really killed it, too. So that's also female-centric. But, the Wonder Woman script, everybody's going to go. That script is impeccable. Gal Gadot is impeccable, and you really have to go see it. June 1st. Mark your calendars. I want everybody to go see it. I want that to have 7 billion tickets.
Right, yeah.
Believe in humanity again.
So I see.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I just got the smackdown.
Right.
So that's what we call that.
That's right. She put you in your place.
Yes, you did,
And
Doc.
what's funny is she totally, Doc Housel totally brought it around to all the arguments that I was gonna make, and even
and she feeds it to you
and fed the needle. It was like she's reading my mind.
Well,
you're reading my mind out there. But anyway,
I'm so sorry. I do have that ability. I don't mean to all the time, so it's unwitting if that happens.
When you got to Alien and Ripley, it's like that's where I was going to go with that. But anyway, the technical point though that I was going to make is when I saw the trailer for Wonder Woman, it looked fun where those other ones weren't, and that's why that was my concern, because I was so disappointed. I was like, are you kidding me? How did you guys screw this up? So I do give it hope, and if that's the case, this is going to be the best out of that whole new reboot.
I think so too.
Oh, no question.
And it looks good.
Yeah, I really feel like that. Yeah,
and
it's going to be a history maker.
And as a supporting actor, Chris Pine does humor real well. And some of the scenes.
He's going to play a good foil. He's remember, he's supposed to be the dude who's not as competent as the. And he does that pretty well, actually. His foray in Star Trek, as Captain Kirk kind of shows him, is a little bit. He's a little bit of a far. He could make fun of himself. I feel like that was a lot of that. That acting was a lot of I'm making fun of myself, and I'm okay with it. I'm James T. Kirk.
That's right. I agree.
I sleep with green women.
Yeah,
that's right. My middle name is Tiberius.
Oh man, we could go into it.
Yeah.
There's a whole blog. Someone analyzed the whole sexism of James T. Kirk from the original series. Turns out, it's a meme. It's not. If you look at the facts, it's like oof. So he's branded anyway. But we don't need to talk about that today. We've got too many current things to talk about.
Right.
So yes. So I think from what I've seen of the trailers, it looks good. They're compelling me. My only reservation was those other movies, but I'm not gonna. You're right. You are telling us do not taint your opinion.
Yes.
Go see this movie. You will enjoy it.
Good. So, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it.
Enjoy it.
And I'm with you.
Yeah, I think it was with the female Ghostbusters. I'm perpetually in physical therapy because of an injury that I sustained about 16 years ago. In physical therapy right before that movie came out, and my physical therapist was a 30-year-old guy, very cute, of course, because who else would I go to? Maybe I need a date. Maybe I'll go to physical therapy again. No, I'm joking.
Right.
Kind of, not really. But anyway,
yes, but
Adam was all oh, girl, I'm not going to that movie. It ruins the original concept. And I literally smacked him in the face.
Oh, right.
Did you just hit me? I'm like, yeah, I hit you. And I'll hit you again if you ever say that again. I think he kind of enjoyed that hit in the face.
I love that.
Yeah.
Doc Housel's the only person when she goes into physical therapy, the other person walks out and they need physical therapy now.
Yes, the physical. I was just.
I'm sporting a black eye right now, boys. I'm sporting a black eye right now. That's kind of not a joke.
What happened?
Hands on. I'll put it that way.
Oh.
Like, do not fuck with me. Oh my God, I did it again. Do not F with me, because if you do, I will hit back. I'm not like a normal woman. I'm not going to stand there and go, oh no, I have to go call the police now because you're my stalker. I'm going to take my, I'm going to punch you back. I'm not gonna stand there and be like, oh, what should I do? I walk with a big stick and I will beat you in the head until you're dead. Is what I will do. Well, maybe not dead, because then I'd have to go to jail. But
Well.
Anyway, I've had enough of dudes stalking me and being predators. So enough of that. Good luck. That's what I.
Yes.
Right. We got so worried about that at one time that we were thinking about the logistics of mailing Buddha to Doc Housel so he could be the bodyguard.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was not a joke. It was like an 8 month. I was terrorized for 8 months by these people in Atlanta, and I don't want to give them any pub or anything like that, because I'm sure they're listening. They still stop me, by the way.
Right.
So,
every time I advertise that I'm going on the radio, I'm like, in the back of my mind, I know that they're listening. I'm like, well, fuck you all. So sorry.
So
I cannot be PG-13.
So to summarize, Wonder Woman good.
Wonder Woman good.
Stalking bad.
Stalking bad.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
And Jessica Jones actually talked about stalking. So that was the whole season. Her whole opening season was about her being basically stalked, but by somebody with superpowers. And even somebody like her who had superpowers, they showed it as being like a really scary thing.
Sure.
So
I can't imagine. I don't know. I don't get the whole stalking thing.
No.
Yeah, well,
pretty much if someone tells me go away, it's like you'll never see me again. I've disappeared. I'm down in the red curtained room in Twin Peaks. I'm Agent Cooper. I'm waiting there for 25 years.
You're gonna be the worst stalker in history. They're like, hey, you're stalking me. All right, goodbye, and then whoop, you're gone.
Yeah.
No, you know what you are, Doc. You're the opposite of a stalker. You're a ghost.
I am a ghost. I am a ghost.
Oh. That's what happens. That's what happens after every show. When we shut everything down, I stand up and say, "This house is clean."
Yeah.
Anyway,
wave some sage around, burn a little sage.
Right? Yeah.
Cheers.
We could do that. That could be done. I'm literally looking at the black drop curtains right now and thinking what they would look like in red velvet. I'm just like, I'm so like, I want to like. Next week you'll see the show and it'll be the what does they call it, the underground lodge or whatever.
Yeah, no.
I just call it hell. But
I can't wait to see what else is revealed in Twin Peaks. I'm looking forward to that. And American Gods is blowing my mind. Hey boys, I can't wait to see July a new version of The Tick, and I think it's going to be on Amazon Prime, which I don't have, but I'm going to have to get.
Right.
So we heard about that a while back. We heard about the remake of The Tick a while back. Now, this is live action, a remake, right?
Yep.
Live action.
Live action, baby.
Not Patrick Warburton, though.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Right?
No.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Unfortunately.
Is not.
Because he was so brilliant in that. As he's always.
Really was.
Yeah. But I haven't heard a lot about the remake of The Tick since we heard that it was going to happen.
Right.
So that's exciting. Coming out in July.
Yeah, and Midnight Texas is also going to be coming out. I think that's a network show. I want to say CBS, but please don't quote me. That's based on another Charlene Harris novel series, and that's also going to be one of the summer pick-me-ups. And, of course, I always love my blunt talk because it's Sir Patrick Stewart.
Right.
He plays the poop emoji and isn't embarrassed at all about that. So I got to go. I got to go with yay for Patrick. Go, Sir Pat Sue.
Right.
So I do want to talk about the theater, the Alien, because that was a big theater drop.
That was a big opening. Yeah, it did great. It did great this weekend.
Did it actually do good numbers?
I have a number, and actually the numbers I've quoted so far, I want to give credit to Sean help me get some of these numbers. He threw them together for me over the weekend. I didn't even expect to talk to you all, but I'm writing a book about Star Wars, rather.
Oh, cool.
Sean helped
Ooh, we'll have
with,
to...
he tweets my hashtag and stuff, so I wanted to give him some cred. Yeah, the actual numbers, hold on, I'm going to get it for you right now.
Alien Covenant?
The actual numbers for the Alien Covenant this weekend. Did you guys see Alien versus Predator? It was part of the franchise.
Okay, I'll take this one.
Okay.
I'll raise my hand.
Okay.
I'm a big Alien fan.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of a super fan.
Super fan?
I mean, I'm never really
super.
I'm as super fan as I get being a super fan of anything.
Gotcha.
So when I call myself a super fan, it's a Doc normal super fan versus what a real super fan is, which is like when you go to Comic-Con and someone will tell you how many buttons Ripley had on her, jumpsuit on the Nostromo. I can't tell you that, but I have not seen the Alien versus Predator stuff, and I'm always going, I need to see that because I liked Predator, and it's always like, how come I haven't seen that? I've seen all the Alien movies. I've got the DVD set.
Yeah.
Right.
I can tell you, if you want to know why it didn't make it in the same way that the others did, is because a woman turns out to be the hero. In fact, not just any woman.
But
I'd say her stature is about similar to mine, about 5'4". She's also of Latin American and African American heritage. So she's the hero of the movie, ultimately. She bests all these dudes and the alien, and she gains the respect of the entire freaking galaxy. And so, of course, that movie, which is like total girl power, didn't make it in the same way as some of the others, because even with Sigourney Weaver's character, she still gets kind of like bested by the alien. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, in the series she does. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. So that's in the Alien versus Predator. I mean, and to me, that's and somebody wrote about this in criticism, I think, of the new movie. Is that the Alien franchise, at least when we have the first two, which were top-notch, excellent films, some of the best sci-fi. I mean, the first one, I think, is one of my most favorite sci-fi films. I mean, it's right up there with 2001. And what's silly about it is it's a silly little horror movie. I mean, that's really what it is.
Right.
Trapped on a spaceship with a bug. Wow. And how do you make that? How do you make it a brilliant film? Well, you have a brilliant writer, Dan O'Bannon. You have he's a fairly brilliant director, Ridley Scott. I mean, you can't, don't knock his failures. No. And an absolutely whack-a-doodle brilliant designer, H.R. Giger. And a great cast, too. That was one of favorite casts of all time is in the original Alien movie. Yaphet Kotto, come on. Harry Dean Stanton, a young Sigourney Weaver is like her first big breakout movie, which everyone goes, whoa, okay, let's cast Sigourney Weaver and everything now. Yeah. Rightly so. A huge fan.
She's super strong as a character, and she was she's been in a lot of films. Working Girl,
Ghostbusters.
She was in Ghostbusters, where she played a little bit of the damsel in distress. But Alien, she was not the damsel in distress, and that was really a breakout role for her and for women overall at that point in time.
Absolutely,
like that for women. So,
well, and then it was. I'm
all over that.
And then it was James Cameron who really, with Aliens, brought that character, full force. And it's funny because he kind of also was doing that with the Terminator 2 with Sarah Connor, kind of the. And I'm like, as a guy, I gotta tell you, that all worked for me. I was First of all, let me just explain something to you. I mean, are you all ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Doc Housel, are you ready? Over there on the phone?
I'm ready.
Let me just explain something to you guys. Okay. You, Jason.
Okay.
You, Doc Housel. And me, the faux Doc Normal.
Yeah.
We're all on a space. We're all on a spaceship together.
We're on a spaceship. Excellent.
And we're
Is it the SS Good Times?
sure.
Okay.
Yes,
Excellent.
that's good times.
That'll be tequila.
That would
Right.
yes.
Corn.
Jose Cuervo is the fourth member of the party.
Guess who's
Yeah.
the captain of this ship? And it's not the two of us here.
No, it's Doc Housel. She's
SS Good
running the show. I just want to be like I just in that whole thing I don't want to be a guy wearing the red shirt because they're always expendable, but I want to be like at least can you make me like Scotty or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe Sulu or something,
But hang on.
Okay.
We're floating in space.
We're floating, yeah.
Bad things happen.
There's tons of bad things. Yeah.
There's a lot of bad things in space. That's the one thing Alien taught us, which was
Right.
good. It wasn't like people with plastic faces. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
no, there's nasty stuff out there. I don't think you want to
Yeah,
poke and prod too much.
It's not Richard Dreyfuss going up on the ramp,
No.
See you later.
No.
Right.
So bad things happen.
Yeah.
You're kind of trapped on a spaceship.
You're trapped, yeah.
Because you can't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
There's stuff down the hall and stuff.
There's stuff down. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Jason
Yeah.
and Doc
Yeah.
Doc are sitting there.
Yeah.
Who's going to go down the hall and take care of it?
She's sending us to go down the hall.
No. If
It will be me. Yes.
Doc Housel says,
Okay.
No.
pulls the flamethrower nuclear missile grenade gun and goes,
Yeah.
I'll take care of it, boys. What is Jason and Doc Normal going to do?
Well, no. The reason why I
You're
said
gonna hide.
right.
Go ahead and take care of that. Hey, by the way, where'd you hide the tequila?
No. The reason why I said she's sending us first, right, is because we're expendable, right? And
Yeah.
then afterwards, she looks at the camera and says, "Wow, I finally got rid of those a-holes."
Yeah.
Know.
Well, and that is kind of the plot of Alien.
Right.
I never say that about you boys. Other boys.
That
maybe,
is-
but not you guys.
That is pretty much the plot of Alien.
Right.
I mean, that is pretty much like, it's like, spoiler alert,
Yeah.
the crew kind of doesn't, I mean,
Right.
it's the plot. It's like, okay, and then, okay, Captain Dallas, maybe you can go take care of the problem. And how did that work out for you?
Right.
They cut that scene, which bums me out.
I'm glad
You know the Captain Dallas scene?
Yeah.
Doc Housel knows this.
Okay.
The Tom Skerritt scene.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah, they cut it out of the original Alien, and of course,
Yes.
then it kind of appears. They actually put it in the first.
Like director's cut or something like that?
Yeah, I think there's a scene in the director's cut, but they actually end up putting that whole piece into the Aliens movie in the James Cameron.
Gotcha.
Because what happens to Captain Dallas is he gets picked up by the alien and cocooned and. Right.
Yeah.
With the chest burster.
Right.
They
right,
cut
right.
that whole thing out of the original Alien. Doc Housel knows this, I'm sure. I mean, anybody who is like a big alien
And
person.
I also know the numbers, if you'd like to hear them. The
Yeah.
worldwide
Yes.
numbers,
Yeah.
according to Variety, by the way, 2 hours ago, was $66.3 million. And actually, their opening day surpassed
Wow.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as well, with, I think, 36 million. But that was actually a little bit of a disappointment, can I say?
Yeah.
Mm.
To say that, not for me, but I mean in terms of the numbers. Today, by the way, what studios are looking for is about $500 million total from a movie release. That's
Yep.
what they'd like to see or close to it.
Yeah.
So, like one of my friends, Brandon Routh, who played Superman in Superman Returns,
Mm-hmm.
Henry Cavill took over the franchise for him because his movie didn't get close to that mark. Actually, it sold a lot of tickets, but it didn't sell what they wanted, so they switched out the actor. That happens a lot. So this franchise is actually killing it.
He
And
was
I'm really
the guy,
excited about it because go ahead.
he was the guy who played the last Superman before Henry Cavill, right?
Yeah.
That movie,
Yes, he
right?
did.
And
He's one of my clients.
I liked that movie, actually. And when I saw the Superman supercut of all the people who played Superman, it was like, when is that guy popped up? Because I really like it, because he's got a great line. Isn't he the guy who has the line going, well, actually air travel is a lot safer than most forms of travel? There's something like that in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, that's Superman. That's what Superman says.
He was also in Scott Pilgrim Saves the World as
Oh.
the vegan, vegetarian,
Hey,
ovo
hey.
vegetarian or something. He's like great. His hair was bleached in that movie, but
So,
a big range. He just doesn't have a lot of roles, unfortunately.
so like with all these reboots, Alien has a lot of different things that are happening with it in the fandom. So I'm always excited about the new Alien movies. I ran out to see Prometheus. I was just like, oh my gosh, and based on the fact that Ridley Scott came back to do it, you know, and I, to be honest, had mixed reactions. I mean, I was told that this was not a prequel, kind of a prequel. Don't expect these things. Expect other things. It will open up the universe a little bit bigger. And I was all down for that as a fan. The execution of that film, for various reasons, I had issues with. But there were good things in it too. And so I was. You know, and like I've noticed on the internet, a lot of people have said, you know, after you've viewed it a few times, it kind of grows on you, the Prometheus movie. And it's like, yeah, as a story, it's actually, I don't know. There was just some execution issues, and there's famous things about how the script went through a lot of changes, and how certain things that really you don't understand in the movie were cut from the final script, and it's like, oh, that would have been nice if we would have had that little tiny bit right there. And this is based on unfortunately, it's like the Godfather movies. It's like Godfather 1, Godfather Part 2. I mean, it's like Aliens 1, Alien 2. That good of film in my mind. I mean, just that classic, just wow, everything worked here. And so I was a little scared of that. And then now we have Alien Covenant. And I've noticed a lot of fan reactions that have been negative on YouTube. I was watching them this weekend. So I'm going to go see it. It's an Alien movie. I mean, I'm going to go see it, you know. But what what I'm getting from the negative fan reactions, and I want to bring this up because I want to get Doc Housel's take on this, is that they feel that it's kind of wanted to be a continuation of Prometheus, but then that's kind of knocked off the block. Then it wants to be an alien movie, so we have xenomorphs and all the fun things that happen with action and gore with that, and then that's kind of tacked on, and that the Michael Fassbender characters, the android, that's really the reason to go see the movie, because Fassbender is brilliant, and he was. I get that, because that was my takeaway from Prometheus, is Fassbender as the android was brilliant. He was really, really good. But that's kind of the fan reaction, and so a lot of people are like, they wanted, I guess, are we going to do Prometheus or are we going to do Alien, you know? And I'm also getting, and I'm not along the lines of this Ripley discussion and all of that, I'm also getting that maybe where Alien has been a really good, dare I say, feminist, from, you know, the fact that we have the main character as a woman, the hero, that's being kind of played down in these new movies. I mean, we had Elizabeth Shaw, who was kind of the star of Prometheus, and you know, I don't know if it's a big spoiler that she's not much in this movie, and then we've got another character. So I don't know. What's your? Do you have a take on this, Dr.
I think
Housel?
that you pretty much articulated very well how complicated this franchise has been because of all these different little forays that they've taken into the box office, you know, trying out different things and others, and was very sad when Ridley's brother died.
Tony
very
Scott,
sad. Yeah. Super sad about that. I think he was also, like me, a brain tumor patient at one point, you know, so I felt real bad about that. But anyway, yeah, it's a really great franchise, but it is a little bit complicated in its history, and it did start similar to something like X-Men, for example, although the movie history is more recent. The comic book history takes us back to 1962, pre pre-civil rights, pre-women's liberation.
Yeah.
And so characters like Mystique happened in the 70s, like 1978, actually, for one of those two ladies, kind of that's when they're developed. And so when you look at a character like Jean Grey, who was the first female X-Men, even in the movies today, even in the first movie, I should say, she's like very dependent on the men around her, because that's when she was created. When she was created in 1962, that was sort of the thing. So remember, people today have to remember, basically, that this franchise started off in the 80s, essentially. Like you said, Sigourney Weaver was one of her first movie roles.
Yeah.
So
but that's what,
like,
it was groundbreaking, though.
Go ahead.
And we're now in the 21st century, so I guess the point is, and you're gonna, I know what you would think that in 2017 it would not be as groundbreaking to have a female action lead out there, especially a really kick-ass good one, like Ripley was in the Alien series. She was amazing. She was smart. That was the thing. Well, she was smart. It was like all that to me in cinema. And let's be honest. Let's play our cards on the table.
Yeah.
When a woman, and I'm talking about cinema now, and I'm going all the way back. Okay. I'm going all the way back to like the 30s and the 40s, like the film noir.
Sure.
Agree or disagree with my theory? When a woman is smart in the cinema, she's way smarter than everyone else. If you really think about it, right? The guys are dumb. Like
always.
Yeah.
It's actually true. It's
film
not,
noir.
It's not true.
Think of film noir.
It is true.
Yeah.
But it's part of oxytocin. It's really biochemistry.
Oh my gosh.
And that's why women can be
She's reading my mind.
That way.
Yeah.
You're hacking my laptop and looking at my search results.
I'm going to apologize in advance, because I do that, and I really don't know it, so I apologize. But I've been told I do that before by others. I'm really sorry. Or rhetorician. That could be it too. I'm going to go with option B. All right, so
there you go. No, I was listening to a podcast, and they had brought up the oxytocin, and then I started researching oxytocin yesterday afternoon. And I was like, oh my gosh, why do I not know this? Yeah. Easy,
well, what's
I'm a
interesting
dude.
about that, it's the connector. For people that don't know, it's the connector hormone. And Dr. Paul Zak did a TEDx talk, I think, and then it became a TED Talk a few years ago. And he showed how he did qualitative research showing how males would have to hug somebody 8 times a day to get even a little bit of the oxytocin that women have going all the time. And by the way, that's not an advantage. We were talking earlier about relationships and stalking versus ghosting, and more men do the ghosting thing because they have what's called emotional containment. More testosterone means less oxytocin, and that means you can walk away, whereas women cannot. And I'm not joking. When I fall in love, it is not something that happens lightly, and it does not go away, even if the person I love does. So that's the kind of negative.
It will be forever.
Sorry,
I'm not kidding. Some days it's like no window high enough, and like I'm like how am I going to live the rest of my life like this? But you gotta. Here's the good visual for the audience out there when we think about oxytocin, women versus men in this way. The grocery store. He's thinking about what he wants that day.
Okay, yeah.
That minute, that day.
Yes.
When a woman walks into a grocery store, here's what I think. I think about the number of people in my house and that will be coming to my house over the next 7 days, times 3 meals a day. Joking. It is maddening. I am in that store for like an hour and a half because I'm thinking about freaking 50 people. I'm like, well, my nephews might be coming over this weekend, so I'm going to get these 50 things. And then I need this for the next 7 days times 3 meals, and then he needs this, and then she needs that. I mean, it's like it's a nightmare.
See, this is why I fail.
Put it out. It's a total nightmare.
This is exactly why I fail. Right there. That's exactly why I fail. Right there. It's exactly that. I went to the store last night. What?
Yeah.
To get dinner, and then Twin Peaks is on.
Right.
I can have a vegan bologna sandwich.
Vegan, right? That's a meal, isn't
And
it?
then it is actually, but yeah. See, that's exactly why I'm just thinking of the. I'm like, if somebody shows up, I guess they'll decide what they want, and maybe we'll go get it.
Yeah.
Or maybe we just won't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I bet, but I was just thinking
that's funny.
I was just thinking that we're going to have a new rule here at Coffee with Curmudgeons.
Excellent.
Is that Jason and I are going to hug about 6 times each time we do the show. Because we need that healthy oxytocin. Right?
Right.
I'll be rubbing my nipples as I watch that.
Oh, right. Okay. Keep the camera on there. It's like I don't know, but Doc, how are you going to handle this? Right? Look at this. Give me a hug. It's just
You're kind of huggable bear, sort of, which is
hot.
just like,
It's hot, baby.
Man,
huggable bear. Oh man, that's great,
Jason. There's a couple places we could take you downtown that you do real well.
Well, I try to help where I can.
Just stay away from the pizza places, please.
Hey, can I get a slice?
Oh,
no.
Is
Anyway,
that Old Town Pizza? Am I thinking of the right name in Portland?
What's that?
Which one?
I love that place. Is it Old Town Pizza? Is that am I saying the right name?
Yes, there is
Am
an
I
Old
thinking
Town
about
Pizza.
That right?
Is it still there though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, but yes, you are thinking
you are
Old
correct.
Town Pizza is a pizza place. Yes. And it's and I haven't been there in a long time.
Delicious.
But
I died and went to heaven when I was there.
So I mean, so what's your? What did you think of Prometheus? I mean, what do you think? Where do you think this is all going for Alien? Is it going in the right direction, the wrong direction? What's happening?
I'll tell you, not from the pop. The pop culture professor. I'm not talking to you as a fan. I'm talking to you as
yes.
The analytics of these
expert
things. Right. So
that's what we like, experts.
But anyway, I definitely am looking at it like a movie studio. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at it from sort of their perspective, what they're going to do with it. So nostalgia. We were talking about this earlier. How nostalgia sells. Just like Star Wars. By the way, is going to be the next Star Wars. Like in 40 years, they'll be doing the 40th anniversary or whatever of the Galaxies. It's that kind of franchise. At the current moment, I believe that their total worldwide movie sales are heading up to the $700+ million mark. So we're getting closer and closer to $1 billion for that franchise.
So you made. So your point.
I'm saying that Alien is going to be. It's just one of those franchises. It will never be at the Star Wars level. I don't know, that would be like sort of the wet dream of Ridley Scott and frankly, Sigourney Weaver, everybody, but it will always have popularity and it will continue to have a kind of a second life as it were, as long as nostalgia continues to sell. So these things are cyclical, and just like with something like Twin Peaks came out in 1990, today's 2017, 27 years later, and like I said, that started in 2014 that it was announced that Showtime was going to revamp it. So it has been in the works for a while.
Yeah.
I'm trying to guess that Alien will have, it'll be cyclical, and it will probably never go away in our popular culture. I will be long dead, and they'll still be making Alien movies. You know what I mean? We'll all be gone. This whole conversation will be lost in the internet ether somewhere. And they'll still be making Alien movies. They'll still be making Guardians of the Galaxy. They'll still be making Star Wars. And in fact, boys, they may even have our voices. We won't even know this. Use holographic projections in our voices to replay parts of this conversation as if we were really there. We can see in the movies. I mean, it's.
Oh yes. I'm right there with you. I mean, I believe that
some hacker could find us and pick up our little feed and kind of replay and be like, "She said it."
Hey!
And it's happening.
Come on, Peter Cushing.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Cushing. Mm-hmm. Grand Moff Tarkin. Rogue One. Enough said. Right.
Right.
I mean, and I have to say, and I got that on the disc, on the replay, and I ran out and saw that movie, which I really liked Rogue One a lot. By the way, was it Felicity Jones? She's is that her? Yeah.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
Star of Rogue One.
Haven't seen it.
Another female lead character.
Gotcha.
But I actually really liked the Tarkin thing, the Peter Cushing thing. I thought it was well done. I know some people are like, I can kind of tell, but it's like, no, if you don't know, it's hard to tell. But anyway, to summarize, I mean, I think we kind of CNBC'd this thing, which is fine. And I agree. It's like a franchise. It's a business. This is a business, not a... Which is part of my problem with pop culture right now.
Okay.
And probably, I'm going to go see the Twin Peaks thing because that's exciting and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun ride. I'm going to go see the new Alien movie because it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun ride. But that Alien movie, the original, was an original piece of work. I mean, as a derivative of elements.
Word.
But it was pieced together as you're going to see something that you haven't seen before. First of all, it's going to have maybe better effects than Star Wars, and you already saw the great effects in Star Wars, maybe better than that, and it's going to tell a story that's not for kids. It's going to be a very adult story. Even if you take Giger and all his gothic sexualization in his art, which is part of the reason. I mean, I used to have his posters all over my bedroom when I was in high school. I mean, it was just like, I just was like, there's something oddly compelling about his horror that mixes mechanization and death and sex and all sorts of things, femininity and masculinity. It's just bizarre. But the problem I'm having in pop culture is I get that this is all a business. Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel. Totally get that. It's they want to build worlds and mythologies that you go to. You go to series on Netflix. You go to the films. Guardians of the Galaxy Part 6, whatever. Yeah. But where's the original pieces? Where's the original Alien movie? Or take the other Ridley Scott great sci-fi movie, Blade Runner, the original. Where are the ones where you go, wow, I haven't, this is brand new, I haven't seen this before. The artist, the director, the writer are creating something totally new. Yeah. They're not thinking about the bottom line. They're not thinking about ticket sales or whatever. They're thinking about creating something, and hopefully people will get it. Is it harder and harder in 2017 to make those original ideas now?
Well, you know, there are still original thinkers. Wes Anderson is, of course, one of them. Sure. He's not making Alien or whatever, but he does, all of his work is totally original. It's really unique stories, character-driven stories, something like that. And you can see, this is a great example, because you can see the popularity of something like Darjeeling Limited, for example, a Wes Anderson film, Royal Tenenbaums, things I can just think of off the top of my head, as opposed to something like an Alien. So it's like Wes Anderson, it's like pitting Wes Anderson against Michael Bay. You know, it's like explosions versus story. You know, you are going to... So what you were saying, how this is all vehicles for merchandising and theme parks, what I want people, and part of my work actually, is to use these kinds of familiar pop culture contexts and give people something to think about within them, so that otherwise they wouldn't think about it. Unless you put Star Wars in the cover of a book, no one's going to buy the freaking book. I understand that. That's part of what I do, and have been doing for years now. And if you can think about a pyramid scheme, audience people, we do love our pop culture, and there are some great stories out there. And scheme, this is to get your money and your kids' money, not just today, but for the next for the rest of their 40 years of Star Wars. I think I was 6 years old when that came out. I'm still throwing money around Lego sets. I'm like, I'm looking right now, and I have like 5 different Star Wars Lego sets. I'm not joking, that I bought for myself. And none of them were $100. They were all more than that.
Gotcha.
Interestingly,
Confession right now.
interestingly enough.
Pop,
Oh, sorry.
You go.
No, well, I was just going to say, and interestingly enough, we think of Star Wars today as a franchise.
Yeah.
And when Lucas made it, it was a labor of love.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
An original film.
Exactly.
He made it.
That's what my book is going to bring out. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It was 2 years in the making. Francis Ford Coppola and he were living together in a commune,
Yeah.
and Coppola was frankly supporting Lucas while he sat there typing it out on a little freaking typewriter, because there were no iPads. There was nothing you could. There was no dictation, no dragon. You couldn't talk and have it type out. This was like legit, and he had to go back with a little bit of whiteout every time he made a freaking mistake.
Oh God, whiteout! I remember.
Yeah, for real. Those little whiteout pieces of paper, that was like a real boon when that changed.
Young
that was
people
a
are like,
game
"What's
changer." I was
whiteout?"
like, ooh,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have to use the liquid anymore. I mean, so this is stuff that when my book comes out, all this stuff is going to be talked about, because that's exactly right. And I mean, meaning creative people with creative talent. You never know when you write something if it's going to become the next Star Wars or the next. You don't freaking know. You have not a clue. You're just doing what you're doing, and then like 5 or 6 or 7 or 20 years later, suddenly people are still talking about it, and you're like, what? What?
Right.
I started this little blog in 2009. If you look back, I look back at the analytics, and I'll see people still looking at things I wrote in 2010. And I'm not talking about 5 people. I'm talking, I literally had 6,000 people come to my blog yesterday, 6,000 unique visitors. I have over 1 million people. It's heading up to 2 million people. And I'm sitting here going, what the F? How did that happen, And then I look back and I'm like, oh, I said a lot of personal stuff in that one. Oh, geez, I wish I hadn't written that, but that's part of what people like. And you just don't know what's going to hit the right note. I had no clue, not a single clue. The book, I mean, I'd written 2 other books in that series before that. I had not a clue that there's like literally so many books about Twilight. I'm like, why would mine become a big deal? A big deal. It's now sold in 101 countries, and I'm sitting here going, what? Why?
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't get it, but that's been, so things like this kind of.
Right. Well, it's the labor
of
the labor of love kind of thing, and that's kind of what I'm. Again, as fun as watching some of these remakes and things, it's like the unique thing, and maybe you bring something up as well. You're talking about your blog. There's other avenues of media out there, like the blog, like the YouTube video or something like that didn't exist before, and maybe that's where more of the originality is in art and culture, is like out there on the blogs or on the YouTube. Fan films and things are just amazing these days because you have all the tools. I mean, you can make a legit sci-fi movie today if you've got folks that know what they're doing in After Effects and all that good stuff.
Well, 50 Shades of Grey is a totally new concept. It basically mainstreamed erotica. E.L. James.
Yeah.
And Erica Leonard is her real name. And Erica Leonard was basically writing fan fiction for Twilight.
Wow.
It made
interesting.
scandalously,
Makes sense.
Their age differences weren't like 100 years between them, and he wasn't a vampire. He was just into S&M.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's all.
Yeah.
But for some of the original concepts, they actually aren't, really original. They just seem like they are, but they come from other things. And of course, Twilight is not original at all.
Right.
Romanticized vampires happened in 1976 thanks to Anne Rice. L. Jane Smith wrote the Vampire Diaries on the back of Anne Rice in 1994 1994, I believe, or 1991, actually, I think. Oh, don't quote me on that. It was the early 90s. 15 years later, that Stephanie Meyer just happens to hit the right note at the right time, thanks to 9/11 and pop culture. You know, like within our culture, I should say, within not just pop culture, but within our culture, to do that kind of a storyline. No, you could, the same story, like what we think is totally original and awesome, may have been done before to have known it, because it just wasn't at the right time. You know, somebody wrote a short story. I think about, you know, this guy McCullough all the time, who's the origins of Zorro and of our masked heroes in general. I just wrote about him recently, and you know, thanks to Douglas Fairbanks, Zorro became kind of a big deal. But otherwise, you wouldn't have even known.
That is a really good. You bring up a point that just didn't even register as I was asking about that. Was that timing is everything too? You're absolutely right. Like in pop culture, it's like you write you create the original work, the whatever it is you put as it, and you're it's not so much I don't think any great work or artist that made any great work. I know we could create an argument for a couple things, but pretty much poured their stuff into their creative work for the big profit margin. You know, I think there were some artists, some famous old artists, musicians, and playwrights and things who were like, "Oh, I think this will sell," but still they poured their creative juices into it. And like when we talk about Lucas and Star Wars, but the timing of the culture of the time. Right. Wow, that was
so profound.
Right.
Such a profound logical argument.
You never know what you're going to come up with.
So that's worthy of a ding,
ding, ding, ding.
The timing of the time. Yeah. But yeah, if you look at when Star Wars came out, that sort of thing, it was like we were waiting for something like that.
Right.
But it took Lucas to have to give it to us. I mean, it's like J.R.R. Tolkien when he wrote The Lord of the Rings.
Or modern day J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. You know, so I think wow, you know, I didn't... It's not... Because you could write that great piece. Yeah. And it could just sit on the shelf. Yeah. And maybe someone discovers it later. Right. Or maybe not. I don't know.
But it's all timing.
Well, I can tell you that I have about 15 novels in my hard drive and on a little stick as well that I have not published and may never publish while I'm alive. Like I have one that I think people would love actually, but I'm very aware of the Anne Rice effect, where she starts writing about these vampires, and then suddenly, you know, regular people start popping up and drinking blood, and now there's vampire cults, and the huge one in New Orleans where her story is based anyway. And so, like, you know, I'm really like aware of that kind of stuff as a writer. I won't even about my real life, because I don't want to give people that don't deserve it the attention that they might get. You know, I don't know if they would get it. I don't know if people would. So I think a lot of writers have done this too, like famous writers in the past, like Oscar Wilde, write our stories in fiction, in novels, and people don't know it's the real deal, and then like it never sells. So well, even though that's kind of probably reaching far back, a lot of people think about Moby Dick as like a book you lay on at the beach or something because it's so thick. Yeah. But actually, a lot of that travels as a whaler. Things that happen in that book happened to him, but he couldn't say that to his Victorian audience. He was known for travel writing, like which was all made up BS. And then, you know, he writes this really amazing book, philosophy and science and his own experiences, and it's totally like there's homosexuality, there's like all kinds of stuff happening that's really groundbreaking, and it truly is the great American novel. So like nobody loves it, nobody cares, and he dies working the shipping docks.
Yeah.
Nobody knows him at all. He becomes completely poor. One of his kids commits suicide. His wife says he's beaten her, and she divorces him at a time when that didn't happen. Like,
Right.
happens to this guy all because he loses it. And that's why so many of us are like, well, I think I'll just keep this in my hard drive for now, because
Right.
you don't know. Like, you can't tell. You don't know what's going to hit or miss, and it could kill your career.
No, listen, I completely agree. There are so many of the, especially the early American writers, that you think of today as just these icons, like Melville, or even, Edgar Allan Poe, right? Dies a destitute guy that stuff now is living on, and will live on, and
he died in a gutter.
Exactly, yeah.
Gutter because of some election. I mean, they used to get people drunk and then take them to the voting booth. And of course, Edgar Allan Poe, like so many of us sad, creative, talented people, we really, like, the world is not kind to us. Like, if you show any little bit of intelligence or talent, and you're a woman on top of it, you are literally stalked almost to death. I mean, you can't even be remotely attractive and live a normal life. To be honest with you, unless you're married, you have to tie yourself down and have a bunch of kids, and then you might be able to be normal. But otherwise, it's even today. And that was something that Doc Normal was bringing up, like 2017. This shouldn't be such a brain drain that there's a female lead or whatever in a movie. But I think we all recognize the recent election, not to become political about this at all, but it's just this is just a fact, people. It doesn't matter if you liked or disliked Hillary. Is the rhetoric surrounding Hillary Clinton and Sarah Palin, when those two were competing politically, that Sarah Palin was a beauty queen, that she was vapid, that she was like shooting moose in the woods and then fixing her hair and makeup.
Yeah,
her as like this really awful woman. And then Hillary Clinton she wore pantsuits, she was a lesbian, she had a bad haircut. You didn't see anything about that with the male candidates, and you saw that happening again.
Yeah,
Hillary Clinton is a criminal. Of course she is. You know what you have to do to be a woman and get to where she was?
Well, hands down.
That speaks volumes to me.
Yeah. I mean, hands down, I think no reasonable person can question that, no matter what you... And fair enough, you brought up Sarah Palin as well, a politician, successful woman who's a politician is just going to get a ration of crap that men are not going to get, and that is sexist and misogynist, and there it is. End of story.
Right.
2017 but shouldn't be that way.
But I hearken back even to how much crap Geraldine Ferraro took.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's pulling back ways. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and it's just. I mean, it's just. Again, I always go back to growing up on Star Trek, the original series. Now, granted, it was Captain Kirk and whatnot, but then the Next Generation and things. I mean, it was set in the time, and Star Trek, the original series, was the 60s. Yeah. But there was that first wave of feminism, and there was that, hey, in the future, these things shouldn't or wouldn't be problems anymore. Right. And, as a kid, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm cool with that. I'm good. We're good. You're good. Yeah. And then, we come to 2017.
Right. And you're still mired in the...
What in the heck? Yeah. And then if you look at the sci-fi from the 80s on, the RoboCop and all that stuff, it's all dystopian type of, even Alien, the world that the Weyland-Yutani corporate world that Alien is set on, build better worlds. Blade Runner, they're all dystopian future, right? And so you're like, oh, we needed more Star Trek or more, or even Star Wars, I guess. Star Wars has a lot of, at least my understanding in recent times, There's a lot of
Right.
feminism in Star Wars. I watched the animation and I became a fan of Ashoka Tano. You know, I was like all about that. That's cool.
Right.
And her decisions.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
no, I mean,
Her decisions about the
I think
Jedi,
that there's
strong. Ooh, you know, she's got a great story.
Yeah.
a lot of. It's so weird when we look back at like the original Star Wars, the lack of diversity.
Yes.
I mean, James Earl Jones's voice is in it, but that's like the only like
Yeah.
kind of difference. Everybody is white. It's unsettling actually because it shows our culture and our cultural development, and that's ultimately what we're really talking about. All this distraction, all this pop culture is simply distraction
And
to find a place to put their money, because it's really all about greed ultimately. And I hate to say that, but that's. It wouldn't be an amusement park ride for Guardians of the Galaxy right now, you know.
Yeah, and remember when you know, The Force Awakens. Remember the blowback from just, what are you doing here? This is Star Wars. The blowback from the cast, you know, John Boyega and all this, and it's like, are you kidding me?
Right?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, and Daisy Ridley.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, Daisy Ridley. Just I was mesmerized when I went to see the movie. I was like, I loved her. I was like, her acting was like some of the best I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. Let's be honest. You know, I thought so.
Well, you know, I think that a lot of men feel like you do, but remember, what is the real problem is greed. Who are the people running it? They do not want to share with women, and the World Economic Forum in 2016 showed that 75% of the free labor done worldwide was done by women. Amount of money, compensation that those women did not get because they were forced to work for free, which I am one of them. A lot of things for free. Because I'm a woman, I'm asked to do things that a man would not be asked to do for free. They would expect to be paid, and they would get paid, but I do not and would not. Do I want to do it? Yeah, I want to do it, and I'm going to do it. And even if I don't get paid, even if my name doesn't end up in the credits, I'm going to do it because I can say I did it, and it is on my resume.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I have to do. So.
The real sad thing about that is in 2017 they're rolling back the fair pay thing.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
The rollbacks just this week while people are off in foreign countries are amazing.
Right.
Dodd-Frank. Oh no! The whole subsidies and all sorts of stuff that's happening right now as we speak. Excuse me, I wasn't getting emotional. I just went down the wrong pipe.
Yeah.
If I'm going to get emotional about it, I'll get angry, not upset. But I was going to say one thing though.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my Anderson Cooper.
Right, Anderson Cooper.
No, not that fast.
Rapid
but
fire.
I'm going to point. I'm going to say this.
Yes.
Because Doc Housel brings up a great point. And if there's something, I was lucky enough to be hired to produce all the conference videos for the XOXO Festival for several years, and there's been some really good talks there, really good talks by women creators and artists. And if there's one thing I learned from the XOXO Festival over those years from women creators, and I think this applies to not just women, everybody, guys, women, myself, everyone included, get paid for your work. Don't let people rip you off. And as a matter of fact, I remember Aaron Dreplin gave a talk last year at Web Visions, and that was the first thing he tells this story about this guy who's like, oh, I'm starting my little business up, and could you do some designs for me, whatever? And he's like, okay, I'll do something for you. Can you have mercy? And then he sees the guy like a week or two later driving down the street in a BMW and all this stuff, and he's like, that's the last time I'm going to be doing that, you know. Get paid for your work, even if you're a creative. You want to break in and stuff, I know, but guess what? People will take advantage of you. I speak from experience. Get paid for work. There was this lady who that was her talk. And it was basically like her giant on the screen. It said, F you, pay me. And she was an artist and a designer. And it was like, yes, exactly. I'm trying to remember who it is. I'll send you a link, Doc Housel. You'll like Rachel Binks. That's who it is. Rachel Binks, New York, I think. But everyone was just like...
I'd love to see it. I mean...
giant words on the screen. It was like, and everyone sat there, and there's a lot of designers and creative people and stuff, and it was just like applause. It was like, because you know why? Because Doc Housel, you're a writer and a creative. Why do we want to pay you? I mean, you're a creative and a writer. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That mentality.
And I'm a woman.
You're a woman.
And
you're a woman.
It's not just creative world. That's like, I was a professor for 20 years. When I started off, I'm going to tell you right now, $13,000. Rochester Institute of Technology in New York, which is a doctoral granting institution where they report the average salary for the regular professor is $99,000 a year. Why are they paying Dr. Rebecca Housel $13,000? I will tell you what the dean told me at the time. This was in 2001 or 2000. You know, my male colleague that you hired at the same time, who has a degree from an institution that's less rigorous than mine and doesn't have the publications I have, why is he making $58,000 and I'm making $13,000, Dean? Well, we're happy to pay Andy because he is a husband and a father, and he has a family. Family at 18. I had a family.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
And I really was angry. And then in order for me to make $35,000 a year, I had to teach 12 classes a year. Just for context, for the audience out there who does not understand, a full-time professor classes a year. In order for me to make $35,000 a year, I had to teach 12.
Jeez.
That was what I had to agree to. I was tied into this area. I had to stay here. My son was in school. He didn't want to leave. What I had to do. And that meant, like, when people look at my resume, they're like, why did you do all this different stuff? Why did you write 50 books and all these articles? I've got more. I would say I have at least 500 different articles on my resume. It's disgusting. Why? Because I had to work 5 jobs. Why was I a speaker and writing and teaching? I say I'm ADD, and I am, but that's not why. I did it because nobody wants to pay me what I deserve, so I have to do. I literally had to work 3 jobs. I'm working 3 jobs right now. I mean, I have to do more, and I'm 45.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm an expert. I really have the stuff, and I'm still working a million jobs just to make it because nobody is willing to give me what I deserve. And when I start to get popular, that's when people get upset with me, and the company is like, we're going to go in a different direction now. I'm like, oh, really? How interesting. Now that people are demanding me and you have to pay me, me to go away. Huh.
Right.
Well,
And they hire a guy in my place. I'm like, you got to be joking.
The other thing I was thinking, too, it popped in my head, and the whole get experience, put out some stuff, show your work or whatever. Well, but the way you do that is not working for someone for free. Like, write us these articles and we'll do something on spec or whatever. You've got your own blog. You can do your own thing on your own thing that you own yourself. Yeah. Here, you want to see my work? Here's my work. Go read my blog. Go look at the podcast or whatever. Go out and listen to it or whatever. There it is. Then you make the determination and let me know when you've got your pencil or pen, I guess, and you're going to write a check. That was a really weird old school reference. Writing a check with a pencil or a pen.
I still have a checkbook in my purse.
Put that down in the checkbook, Charles.
Yes.
I still have it.
Have you checked on the space
How do you know you're
gardens?
45? Well, I don't have any wrinkles, but I do have a checkbook in my purse.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But I mean but and you can own that content, own your blog, own the source of your blog. Just don't use Facebook for promotion or whatever, but own back the content. I'm actually regurgitating a bunch of XOXO stuff. If you ever go back and look, a lot of people talk about that, but that to me is how you have the tools to put it out there, and you can own it, and you can do what you want.
Yeah.
But as soon as someone comes and says, hey, I want you to work for me, the key word there is work for you, which implies payment.
Getting paid, right, yeah.
Jason is like sitting here going,
Right.
Wait a minute.
time to call up those NuzBox peeps and try to... Wait a minute.
Anyway, yeah, we're just raking in the dough.
You know. Yeah, it's
Anyway,
Well, I think
that was a
it's
visual cue.
right.
difficult, but also, worthwhile to continue to do your art or whatever you do. Whatever. I
Whatever.
think everything is art. Landscaping is art. You know what I mean? Architecture. Everything that anybody
Yes.
does. Dentistry. I don't care what you do. It's art. You can do it. You can do it like it's a paycheck, but that's where greed is. That's kind of negative energy, and you just want to positive. What you do, whatever you do, it's art, and you want to be paid. Everybody else does too. And the logic behind a lot of the patriarchal mumbo jumbo is absolutely not reasonable. And you can see it in things like pop culture, because what we're experiencing in sort of a macro way with pop culture and politics and the larger issues we see, World Economic Forum, we see in the micro world of women too, in terms of relationships and stalking. Actually, it all filters back to stalking. Look at that. It all comes around.
I want to just take a little offshoot just on this discussion, because this talking about getting paid, getting compensated for your work. Mm-hmm. Do you do any crowdfunding or anything like that? Donations like a Patreon, Kickstarter, donate, click on the PayPal button. Do you do any of that? And do you see that as anything viable for your work as an independent, as your work in independent creative artist?
Yeah, actually, it's interesting. So I got to give a shout out to one of my fellow writers, and he's a comic book person and graphic novel guy. He does illustrations and writing. His name is Eric Burnham, and he actually he said to me when I was struggling because of the stalker situation, and I knew I had to leave my job and leave the house, and that's financial ruin. And about 60% of women that are stalked, in order to survive, 80% die. 60% that of the 20 that live have to actually leave everything behind, and you have to have somebody to support you when that happens. But my friend Eric, because I do have people that help me on a regular basis, and I'm lucky to have good family and friends that made sure I got out of the dangerous situation, and literally wrote checks and stuff to help me get out, and that's really unusual. But he helped me figure out things like Patreon, and I have to say, I think that he might be one of the people that donated to me, to my blog and stuff. That was what I did it for. But otherwise, the thing for me that really, for my audience and my particular, what I do is really the books. That's ultimately the vehicle. A lot of people the person that got me into this in the first place so Eric is a man, obviously. My friend Bill Irwin, who started the Pop Culture and Philosophy book series, that is literally just between two books alone, just between Simpsons and Philosophy and Seinfeld and Philosophy. He sold 1 million books. So his series is really, it's awesome. It's worldwide. It's global. And he made me global by including me. And I think 4 or 5 volumes, or no, I've been involved in a lot of others, but as an editor, where I was getting royalties, he's the person really that helped me the most, because you don't have to be super famous to sell millions of copies of books. Getting royalties, which I do not get at the moment, but my next series I would, is 12%. And, that's about $1.20 for a $10 book. So, you think about something like True Blood and Philosophy. Yeah. I think that sold about 100,000 copies. I didn't make 12%. I was one of 5 editors on that book, so I make basically 30 cents a book for that. But if I were making $1.20 a book, I'd have tons of money. I've got 5 or 6 books that are, sold in multiple languages. One is sold in 9 languages in 101 countries. I'd be rich right now if I got the 12%. So the next book series is the one coming out that, and it's funny. We're having this conversation. When I do those books, when that book comes out, I think it will be 2018 now, because I've got like all these events coming up this fall, and I was supposed to have it done a month before the movie, and I will not have it done a month before this movie. But luckily, it's a franchise, so it'll come out before the Han Solo flick or something in 2018. Anyway,
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I'm not going to be using my name, Rebecca Housel. I'm going to be using my initials, just like E.L. James, just like J.K. Rowling. Same reason that they did, because if it's a woman's name right on the front, it will not sell.
Interesting.
It will not sell. Yeah, I mean, this is not me. This is a publishing industry we know.
Yeah.
If we wanted to sell, let's not put Rebecca on the cover. We're going to put initials on the cover because that's people won't. It won't be as obvious.
Jason has volunteered for the back jacket photograph cover.
Okay.
He'll be E.L. Housel
E.L. Housel, yes.
in
Excellent.
his Man United t-shirt.
Listen, I will wear like some tweeds, and like a little Oxford like glasses, and stuff.
Yes.
And
people will be so confused when they go to Comic-Con and see you show up, Doctor.
Right.
Except the Bob on the stage, they're like, "What?
Wow, E.L. Housel.
I thought that you were a dude."
Yeah, it's
bald
weird.
Guy with a goatee.
E.L. Housel, I got your book, and you were a fat middle-aged bald dude, and I gotta say, you're hot. It's like, well, that's oil of. That's right. It's oil of Olay for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
I use La Mer, by the way. La Mer is the thing. Yeah,
That's some magic.
So funny. I love it.
Well,
I love it, boys. So hopefully we'll all be rich, and I'll share my riches with you. Where would you like to go?
Hopefully.
If I become rich, where would you like to? Well, I don't know. I'm a woman, so there's always a question mark there. But if it happens, where shall we go, boys?
That's simple.
We're going to go podcast from a special location.
We're going to be on a spaceship.
Ooh.
Designed by Elon Musk.
Yes.
We're going to be the crew. It's going to be the Gardens of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
We're going to have,
Yeah.
Jeeves, water the ferns, please. Yes. Oh,
Jeeves.
I believe we're under attack by Klingons.
I was thinking
Red
more
alert.
like Hawaii or like a Alaskan cruise or something.
Oh, okay. Okay.
To work.
I like it. Well, you'll be successful. Then you can do what the cool kids do and have your own cruise, right? Your own pop culture cruise.
Why are you guys trying to fit me in
You know
those?
what? I've thought of that before. A producer actually approached me about that before, doing cruises.
People
Pop
do that.
culture. His idea was horror or paranormal because I was representing a lot of paranormal.
Oh yeah, we like that too.
Time.
Yeah.
See, that's
Yeah, but unfortunately, paranormal fans do not have money. I mean, they may have money, but they just don't put out the money. Like Comic-Con is pretty. The average person spends $400 at Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
At
You got to bring.
Paracon, it's not the same, and the numbers aren't the same. A Comic-Con.
Wow.
Is like depending on the city too. Like Portland is like a 30,000 plus person city. Emerald City, of course, we're talking 100,000 plus people. That's huge now.
Yeah, large
but
market. New
Chicago,
York.
cities like Chicago, Philly, we're talking 100,000 people over the course of 3 or 4 days. That's not the same level as a Paracon. That's really a niche in pop culture that a lot of the paranormal stars, who are reality stars essentially, don't understand that. And everybody thinks it's the easy way to be, because you can claim to be a medium, and who's going to say you're not? It's a nebulous thing. And although Harvard did just recently quantify telepathy, so it's no longer as nebulous as these people believe it to be.
Yeah.
But very quickly.
I just saw that, the little blurb. I haven't read through it yet.
Right.
Yeah, the study came out in 2014. I write about it all the time because I have a lot of strange experiences that I feel are definitely telepathy related. But I'm not going to talk about that exactly because that makes you sound like a crazy person. But I'm really not a crazy person. I'm just connected to a lot of people.
Well,
I'll think about somebody in Ireland. I'll send them a message, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, 2 minutes ago this just happened. How did you know?" I'm like, "Well, I really didn't. I just saw you and thought about you and figured I'd check in."
Well,
not exactly the way that they portrayed on True Blood, but
I mean, I'm always asked about this, and I always say, well, I'm a skeptic, I'm always a skeptic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that said, I read, as a lay person that doesn't fully understand it, I do consume all the articles about, physics, quantum physics, the things that we're discovering, the impossible drive, for example, which is really interesting. Those sorts of things. And so I think there's just so much scientific knowledge about the universe that we do not know. I mean, it's obvious, right? That's not even a
Sure.
statement of argument.
Sure.
We're at the tip of the iceberg of the knowledge of physics and the universe and how time works and things like that, and how reality works. And since our brains function, and our brains are these computers, and and function in this universe, how can you say that there's not something that we don't know about scientifically that can cause some of these effects, like you say, like some sort of empathy or something, where you're like, there was a guy, a physicist once, who kind of, I think a lot of skeptics debunked him, but he had some interesting ideas about saying, look, for example, empathy, right? Well, that exists in reality in the physical universe somehow. So how do you quantify that? Well, physics doesn't quantify it, yet it still exists. As part of our reality.
Right. There's still causality, even if we don't know what the causality is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, and that's kind of what Carl Jung was studying with his synchronicity.
Yes.
Yeah, and the collective unconscious is really what you're talking about. Empathy, when we feel it, when we're open, and frankly, I think the people that have been have gone through some kind of adversity or like pain, have had like a physical trauma, we tend to be more aware, self-aware. And so when you're more self-aware, you can have more compassion, you can have more empathy, and you might even be able to connect with what is probably the collective unconscious, just not in the mechanical way that people think of it, but think of it as like the human internet. We have it. You know what I mean? Right. I believe that's really what the collective unconscious is. We're sort of all connected like a web. In a way, and it's just like the internet. We just haven't been able to quantify it. But Harvard really did a good job at starting that process in 2014, and I think it's just really the tip of the iceberg.
I agree. Yeah.
Because I think it was University of Southampton that documented last spring in 2016 that consciousness exists outside of the body for at least 3 minutes when people died and were brought back within 30 minutes. Not as some like weird, Kiefer Sutherland movie or something, but like for real, this really happened. And those people had memory of what they could see, feel, hear, and touch when they were no longer living. And there's no way that they could have seen it. They were unconscious. So how did they see it?
Right.
How did they feel it? How did they know? And so that's been documented now.
Oh, volumes upon volumes of near-death experiences,
I mean, again, I'm the person who's like put the cold, hard microscope on it, get the physicists on the side, debunk, because there's so much also crap, there's so much but that doesn't mean science, the thing that bothers me on the other end about scientists in people, who is like, oh, it's science. Well, science by its nature is have an open mind. We have a process to apply, and if it doesn't pan out, then we move on to the next thing.
Yeah, but isn't science by its base definition, it's a question, right? You're trying to figure things out. You're trying to wonder what
and there's a process.
Yes.
So it can be applied.
And unfortunately, not all scientists are open that way, though. It's become a very erudite, closed kind of discipline, and they're having a problem right now struggling with physics because they've really made it so that people can't get involved, and and now they're struggling to develop new minds. So in this space, anyway. So it's very interesting, the whole question. I think that there's going to be, like you said, or I think we're trying to say that there's more to the universe that we don't know than what we do, and so to just summarily dismiss everything is absolutely ignorant and ridiculous. It would be like, when we thought, remember when everybody thought it was ridiculous that there would be other life in the universe, and now we know that there are other planets, So it's like that. It's like, what we don't know. The Earth was round and it is round. Like all this stuff that
that's
people thought was hooey. It's not.
That's a great example.
So,
that's a great example because that's something that I always latch on to, is that in my lifetime when I was a kid, it was like, well, life, we're not sure, there's a lot to it. We don't understand it. We got the moon. There's definitely not life living there. So probably not if you went to the scientists. And now we're discovering organic chemistry and all the earmarks. I think just in our neighborhood here in the solar system. So we're like, this life thing might be a lot more prevalent than we think, or at least the building blocks in the organic chemistry seems to be strewn all over the place here in space. And I think that's key. I think finding I think that's going to be in my lifetime. I think, unless we discover something else. I think that's going to be one of the key scientific takeaway knowledge, key discoveries in science, is the fact that is the nature of life outside of how we know it as Earth, meaning, or just the fact that we're seeing organic chemistry building blocks on moons of Saturn now and stuff, because we're sending stuff out there and we're sniffing, the air, so to speak, And that's all it takes. Way to put it.
Right, but I think at the heart of it, though, it's egotistical, right? We are the top of the food chain. Well, there cannot be any other life out there because we are it. We're the top.
Greed. Always the problem.
Yeah. That's right. That's
right. There is nothing else but us, so you have to invest everything you have in these movies and shit. Because if you don't, one day we will be poor, and then you won't want to move to the moon. And you'll have to be like in that movie Contact with Chris Pratt. I think it was Contact. I might have that name wrong. And J-Law.
Contact was
Jodie
Foster and Matthew McConaughey.
Foster.
Yeah. And Matthew McConaughey.
What was the movie with Chris Pratt and J-Law that came out in December, and they're like the only two people on a ship?
Oh, the rapey movie?
They wake up.
Kind of considered a weird...
I don't know.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
I thought Yeah, I don't remember. I just kind of watched it again the other day because I liked it so much. Now I've got to look it up.
I know which one you're talking about. I always read the negative reviews.
Pratt, so. Yeah, I know. But so I think that movie, Chris Pratt's character has got to be a mechanic to get into space because he has no money, and that's really good. Pop culture is going to take up people's money. Everybody that's spending, literally, if people looked at what they spent every day on movies and Netflix and the smart technology you need to view all that stuff, the YouTube Red, all the subscriptions that is coming out of your Apple Pay, automatically coming out of your bank, so it's invisible, see it or know it. If you really took, financially, if you really looked at all that stuff and added it up, I think you'd be pretty horrified. If you included the smart technology that you have to update basically every 2 years just to continue to access the things you want to access in terms of your entertainment. If you looked at the amount that we spend as individuals now on entertainment, you can easily see how someone else is getting rich, and it is not the average person.
Yeah, I do wish...
The average person is making someone else rich. And that's part of what my work is, so that people begin to see what they're really buying. You know what I mean? They feel like they're buying an experience in a movie theater, and you are. But you're also, when I said that 7 billion, that Star Wars franchise has sold 7 billion tickets worldwide, so the entirety of that franchise, I think that's accurate, although Sean was, tweeting to me saying that's not accurate. I think that is accurate, but I think I got it right. That means $10 a ticket, right? $10 a ticket times 7 billion. That means that everybody that bought a ticket is not getting wealthier. You're like me. You're spending more money on Legos and the merchandising, and let's go to the Universal. Let's go do all these Star Wars related things. Let's buy the Halloween costumes. When you think about the different, if you really thought about where you spend your money on pop culture, and not just on a movie ticket, not just on these subscriptions, but the trickle down effect. I hate to bring in Ronald Reagan. Although, frankly, I always want to dig up that guy and put him up at a podium and say, let's throw him in. Nobody will mess with us again. That's actually Louis Black bit.
Yeah,
it's so funny,
I know. maybe someone like Elon Musk is trying to like kind of hack the system a little bit and give the profit motive or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he's doing things. He's making things happen over there at his various companies. So at least we've got that. But I definitely agree that I think maybe the one piece that I would say is if there's a way to educate as you're pop culturating as well, to kind of help, and maybe this probably goes all the way back to our discussion about women in the cinema, and women as heroes and prime figures. So there you go. I think we're wrapping
That's my mission, boys. I'm on a mission from God.
That's right.
That's all right. That's all right.
Carrie Fisher.
May she rest in peace. She's talk about a force of nature. If you, I'm still trying to go through all of her influence on Hollywood and script writing and script fixing, which was her secret life. And she was brilliant as a thinker and a writer.
Totally brilliant.
Yeah.
So talented. 19 years old when she's having an affair with 34-year-old Harrison Ford, and I think he was married at the time. So, even in that, that's really kind of horrific when you think about it.
I have not if you watch this YouTube video. Okay. If you go Google, go up on YouTube and do a search for Carrie Fisher for Star Wars French interview, and it is during when Star Wars was released, and the cast is going off doing the junkets for the original Star Wars. I believe it was the original Star Wars. I don't think it was Empire, because she looks really young. I could be wrong there, but anyway. And they're on a French television talk show, right? And she's answering all the questions in French. Yeah. Like Carrie Fisher, and she's like, "Ooh, hey, and it's just brilliant." And Harrison Ford's just sort of sitting there, like, "Yep," And it's just awesome.
He was like a cat that ate the canary.
Yeah, it was just awesome. But they're asking these questions in French, and she's just like, bam, 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 right back at them in French about Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, I don't speak French. Mon Dieu. And you're just like, wow. And of course, it's a great interview too, because it's 1970s television in France. Yeah. So they're all sitting at a coffee table, and I swear to God, they have martinis and ashtrays out, and everyone's smoking. They're smoking. Carrie Fisher's smoking. Harrison's smoking. The hosts are just like, it's just like, well, what about Darth Vader?
The host's got the cocktail shaker. He's going.
It's just great, and it's a morning show, so it's Europe, Right. And then there's naked people.
As Fisher was at that time, I still feel like, having had a 19-year-old, I can tell you the difference between a 19-year-old and a 34-year-old is huge.
I know.
It's huge, and it seems to make sense to us because she's a good actress, and in the movie you don't think that she's 19, but she was still 19 and he was still 34. That is really effed up.
Well,
effed up.
Next time you come on, if you choose to, we can talk about age differences in relationships, because I bet you and I could have interesting discussions about that.
I think so too. All right, gentlemen, thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you so much.
I had a great time. So much fun. And can I just plug my website for everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Go for it.
I was going to ask. Yeah. Please do.
Thank you. I am actually working on an app. I'm not kidding about that. Like a couple of different app ideas that I've been working on. I'm trying to find, I'm working on finding somebody to make the apps right now. I did happen to work at one of the top technology universities in the world, so I happen to know a lot of people. So now it's just a matter of finding who to pay to do it. But right now, you can find me at RebeccaHousel.com, and there's a lot of things you can look at, including updated pictures of a lot of the great moments from my time at Comic-Con
It's
on the
looking
tour.
really good.
Where
The
like John
site's looking
Barrowman
good.
was like kissing me, and it was really like some fun moments there. James Hong
Oh my gosh.
is like standing up in like a really rare moment. I've got Ron Glass, who passed away, hugging me and on stage
love
with me.
Ron
So
Glass. Love
yeah,
him.
yeah. Oh, I cried for days after he died.
Ron
So
Glass,
there's
yeah.
a lot of great moments on there. You can check out pictures, but the blog is really the thing that's popping on that website is the blog. And I'm going to put up this link, boys, as soon as you let me know that it's something I can do and that it's archived. I'll put it up. I think I've got the
Oh, here's
last
the blog.
one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll be right on the first page.
There's the
you go.
blog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be.
We're showing it here on the video, so.
There you go.
Yep,
Yeah.
RebeccaHousel.com. Can't get any easier than that to
Right.
find you. So,
Yeah,
it's
that's
good stuff.
true. That's true.
And you've got a great blog. I've read
I
some
love.
of your
I love reading these,
especially
yeah.
insightful personal blogs that for I've seen you tweet them out or whatever, and it's like, oh, I'll go read this, and then and they're very personal. So some of the stuff, and I've been like, ooh,
Right.
well, that's, like I couldn't ever be
Right.
that courageous to write things. That,
Open yourself to be vulnerable.
Yeah,
But see,
yeah.
that's what makes her blog like great, is because every person, like we were talking about, every person goes through crap, right?
Yeah,
and so you can go to her blog, you can read, and some of the ones that are intensely personal, you can connect with it, right?
Yeah.
So it's fantastic.
I want people to know they're not alone. And I've had an inordinate, because I'm a woman and an attractive woman, I've had a lot of like really effed up stuff happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not just women that can relate to this, because it's really about people and love. Really, all of it for me is love. Love is the most important thing in the universe.
Yeah.
And I think it's the miracle of humanity. And when people don't recognize it or refuse to accept it or reject it, sorry for them. And I just want people to begin to accept, sort of, instead of judging, I want people to show compassion over negatives, kindness over cruelty. This is the theme of my entire. Feel like it can help content. There's no ads. That means I'm paying, but you're not at all, because I want people to not have that mind clutter. I call it mind garbage. Someone else's bullshit for 3 cents or whatever they give me. Forget it.
Right.
I want people to come and be unhindered. One pure space. Words. You can look at the pictures, hear the music, and maybe it'll make your life better. Maybe just for a few minutes, but maybe it'll help affect you in the future too. Who knows?
Right. Doc, thank you so much for coming on. I love talking to you. It literally, after the conversation's over, I like, because I've learned something, right? And that's
my job.
That's
my
it.
job for 20 plus years. I'm always a teacher.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks for the quick
I know.
thing.
I know.
Yeah, thank you.
The last second thing, like 3 or 4 in the morning.
No.
Hey, dog.
That's your fault, Jason.
I
That's
know,
not my
it is.
This is what
I mean, I
this is
mentioned
what
it, and then you
loyalty
did it.
means, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I put
Loyalty is all about this.
I put the pro.
I love you guys. Jason is my boy, and like,
Yeah.
if he asks me to do anything, I'm there.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm not kidding. So what I have to move around, it's happening.
Well, it's reciprocity, sister.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
love it. It is, and we're all going to be rich and famous one day.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah. You let us know if we can do something for you.
You got
too.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Doc,
I will, boys. Thank you. You've
Okay.
done something for me already, so I appreciate it.
Wow.
I love you all. Thanks for having me on. Mwah, mwah, mwah. A big
Love you too.
kisses.
All right.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That was Dr. Rebecca Housel. She is the world famous pop culture professor. Get on her website, www.rebeccahousel.com, and you can check out everything that she's up to. And believe me, she is a multitasker. She's got a lot going on, and it is all good.
Trying to cute. As you were going.
www.rebeccahousel.com.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to dovetail this. I'm going to 360 this whole thing right now. You ready?
Yeah.
When we were talking about whiteout and like liquid paper, anytime someone
God.
ever says to me liquid paper or whiteout, I think Michael Nesmith.
Why?
His mom created it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he didn't need all the riches and the money and stuff. That's the reason why he always kept a low profile after the monkeys. He didn't need the money. He was already a multi-millionaire going
That's
into
crazy.
it. Yeah. Interesting.
I didn't know that.
His mother, and I'll give you the name here real quick. Her name was Bette Nesmith Graham.
Oh, wow.
And she was a typist, commercial artist, and inventor of liquid paper.
Wow.
Yes. There you go.
It's just, this Monday
Yeah.
has become jam-packed.
It has.
See, she still hasn't left.
She is there. She's there.
She's
She will
still here
always
in
be
spirit
there.
with
Yes.
us. Dr. Rebecca Housel. But, it's like such a jam-packed thing. I mean, and... I mean, we got the whiteout thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever want to read a really good story about a woman who was an inventor, look up Technicolor.
Technicolor.
Oh, yeah, and that's a heck of a story, too.
Really?
We have this whole kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know if do we say feminist now in 2017 or whatever? Women, we have this whole vibe today about that, which is great because... Geez, it's like us two dudes sit here and yap our yappers for like 2 hours Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we bore ourselves. It's like,
well,
Yeah, exactly.
But not when we have really cool, incredibly intelligent people like Dr. Rebecca Housel.
We got to go.
But
I had one thing. I had a whole sports package.
We'll do it Wednesday.
Well, we had...
Could update it.
Yes, we can. We can talk about this on Wednesday because the match is on Wednesday. You'll have to come back with your Man United t-shirt.
Okay.
So you're wearing your Man. Big game for Man United over there in England. The Champions League rolled up, of course, Chelsea.
Yeah.
But Man United has a big game on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we can talk about this because... it is if they win, it is their gateway into the Champions League, which they desperately need to.
Right, they got to do it. They got to do it.
But we will talk sports. Maybe we'll have a sports package.
Right.
If I get off my rear end and.
Hey, you know who else? We'll have a special guest here on Wednesday too.
Oh.
Yes.
Not a soccer fan.
Well, I
don't think he is.
Well, I pulled Buddha. He's going to be here on Wednesday, and we will make him a soccer fan. In fact, I'll tell you what. I will have him dress as Pele on Wednesday.
Oh, that will be difficult. I want to say,
or Beckham. We can have him be like Beckham. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happened to Beckham after he left.
Bend it like Buddha.
Bend it like Buddha. Oh gosh, we could go so many ways with that, and all of it's bad.
All right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on out there in the world. Stay safe, and we'll be back on Wednesday. And say goodbye, Jason.
Hey, have a good week, everyone. See you on Wednesday.
Bye-bye.